Hello everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain. You might be surprised to know that this is indeed episode 374. Last week I said it's 372. I lied. It was actually 373, I just forgot to update my show notes, so... bad me. Cafe Fox says, we had some rain where I ran where I am, so things cooled down significantly. Well, that's good. Alright, so... first, I would like to talk about my new camera. So I've only shot and published one video on it so far, but still figuring things out. It actually shoots things too dark. By default, I had to brighten up the video. What did I actually shoot on it? The Star Wars Acolyte debut review, I think, is what I shot on it. So I had to do a brightness adjustment, but there are in-camera settings, so I'm still going to have to play with that a little bit. I found out that the microphone that comes with the camera, so it has a microphone that plugs into the side, attaches to a hot shoe on the top and plugs into the side. It's too close to the camera and it records too much of the camera noise, so it's really unusable. So I had to record using this microphone. So I bought a dongle which would allow me to, instead of connecting my microphone, which I'm using right now, this one, and instead of connecting it to the computer and recording in Audacity and then having to sync the video and the audio later, I could just plug it direct, plug the USB into one end, plug this into the camera, and record my audio that way. That doesn't work for a very obvious reason, which I really should have noticed before I spent, I don't know, $2 on this dongle. And that is, this is a USB microphone. The USB isn't just to, record sound using Audacity on your computer, it's to power the microphone. USB is how it draws voltage. It has to be plugged into a PC or a laptop or a tablet or something, or it don't turn on. Needs power, yo. But it does have a headphone jack in the bottom, so I had to purchase a $4 or $5 auxiliary cable that has the 3.5mm jack on either end, and so next when that comes, I can try plugging it into the computer so it has power, and then plugging it into the camera so the camera records the sound through the microphone. So looking forward to doing that. Morning, says Trilink. Hello, Trilink. It's morning where you are, eh? And Lee, hello. Let's see. Oh, I still need to... neat camera. Terrible instructions. Do not describe things well at all, so it's a little bit slow trying to figure out how everything works. I'm trying to figure out if there's a way to keep settings, like, for example, when I recorded my debut review, I zoomed in to frame it where I wanted it, I recorded it, I stopped recording, watched the show, and then hit record again to record my reaction to the show. What I didn't notice is that the zoom had reset itself. So I'm hoping there's a settings lock somewhere so I don't have to set the zoom levels and anything else every single time. That's kind of annoying. But since it's a 4K camera, I was able to crop all the way back in and not lose any resolution. You didn't even notice! Pretty cool. Alright, what is next on the list? Let's see. Okay, so if you remember the Extra Life charity event last fall, the big gimmick was every, I think, $100 we raised, I ate spicy food. One of them was Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Well, I was at the grocery store last weekend, and I saw a box of Flamin' Hot Cheetos mac and cheese. Feast your eyes on that. And I looked at that, and I cocked my head like a confused dog, and I said, yeah, I'm gonna have to try that. So I bought it. Lyrically C, haven't seen you in a while. Oh, enjoyed the Pride video. I'm glad. Because I thought it was really funny. Like, when I was reviewing the edit, it actually made me giggle and laugh out loud. So I was like, I done, my sister and I done good. And it's done pretty well by the standards of my channel. It has 140 some views. But I mean, it didn't get like 10,000 views like my Eurovision reaction did. So, but oh well. Glad you enjoyed it. So I bought this, and I was going to have it for lunch earlier this week. Until I realized that you need milk, and I don't have any milk. So, I mean, this can easily just sit on a counter for a week without expiring. It's fine. So I went to 7-Eleven this morning, and I bought... This only needs a quarter cup of milk, so I bought way more milk than I need. And now I'm thinking, do I dump it down the sink, or do I, like, buy some cream and sugar and make ice cream, you know? So anyway, I had this for lunch, and sadly, it's all heat, no flavor. Which is weird, because Cheetos have flavor. The Flamin' Hot Cheetos, they taste exactly like what you'd think of Flaming Hot Cheetos. They're just very spicy Cheetos. But unfortunately, the Flamin' Hot Cheetos mac and cheese just has no taste to it. It's just heat. It has a very vibrant orange color, though. I will give it that. It is quite the food item to behold. But I didn't find it particularly tasty. I mean, the texture of the noodles was nice. Of course, that's my phenomenal cooking. Yes, I can adequately boil pasta. So I was kind of disappointed in these. Oh well. Oh well. Lyrically, see, trust me, I was confused when I seen the Cheetos mac and cheese. Yeah. Did I try it? Yes, Matthew. Yeah, I did. It's it is hot. I mean, for me, it's enough to break. Of course, I'm a lightweight when it comes to heat, but it's enough to break a sweat, but not enough to like make my eyes water or my nose run. I mean, I ate it. It was fine. It just because I was hungry and it was lunchtime. But yeah, it just doesn't really have any flavor, which is kind of sad. And I think Cheetos would be an okay flavor for mac and cheese, right? Because it's just mac and cheese is just cheese pasta. It's just pasta with cheese sauce. So if it's, you know, like what, like maybe if you just made a cheese sauce and then just crushed up a bag of Cheetos and stirred it in and make that. On the other hand, I don't know if you got those, you know, clumpy bits of Cheeto dust powder might give it a very unpleasant grainy texture, kind of like when you screw up a cheese sauce and it has that really disgusting grainy texture, because you got the heat wrong and the milk and the cheese are separating wrong. I'm terrible at cheese sauces. I'm terrible at well, I mean, tomato sauce is easy. You put tomatoes in it's easy. Cheese sauces are hard for me. What can I say? Now, how would Cheetos ramen work? There you go. Cass says, may have used too much milk. The amount it calls for on the box is only... Yeah, it only calls for a quarter cup of milk. These have been out for 2 years. Yeah, I'd never seen them before, but then again, I'm never looking for boxed mac and cheese, so I can see why they would have escaped my notice. I'm not even sure why I was in that aisle. I don't know what I was buying. They just caught my eye, and I'm like, oh, hey, how about that? So, When is the Extra Life event this year? I think it's the first weekend of November. It's like, because I know my sister already bought tickets. So, I think it's, let me look. Yeah, I think it's Saturday, November 2nd, I believe is the Extra Life event this year. All right, we talked about mac and cheese. Okay, so, Cheetos mac and cheese. Flamin' hot Cheetos mac and cheese. All right. Is this actually Kraft? Who is this? No, it's just Cheetos. Cheetos. I guess the Kraft does. Obviously, Kraft does not own a trademark on mac and cheese, but so Cheetos just made their own box of mac and cheese. I was wondering if it was like a licensed promotion, like Kraft, licensed the Cheetos brand to make their own. But no, it's not Kraft. It's just Cheetos. Although I don't know who the parent company of Cheetos is. Could be Kraft for all I know. All right. So, I bought myself a present, something I've been saving up for a while. And that would be... Ooh. Oh, there we go. Yes. I bought new dumbbells. I got a pair of 50s. So... Yay me. Let's see. Prior to these, the best I had was this, which is, I don't know, 20 plus whatever this weighs, so probably like 22, 23 pounds, right? Which is nice, but there's only so much you can do with those. At my strength, a 22, 23 pair of dumbbells, I mean, I can do a very long set of curls, but, I, generally speaking, if I'm doing a working set of something, I don't really want to go more than 12 reps, Usually I'll do like a set of 20 reps of any given exercise with lighter weight to warm up. And then my working sets are usually somewhere like 8 to 12, right? So I've long wanted to get some heavier weights in here. I mean, obviously I have the barbell behind me, but I needed some. There's only so much you can do with that. I needed some free weights for curls, shoulder presses, and particularly chest flies. Like, those are just way too light for chest for me. Those are way too light for chest flies. But now I've got a pair of 50s, so that's nice. Unfortunately, weights are like really heavy, so or weights are really heavy, expensive. These are expensive. How much do you think a set of 50s cost me? Normally they go for about $150, but a pair of 50-pound dumbbells, I actually managed to get them for, I think, $136, something like that. Of course, plus tax, it ended up being in the 140s somewhere. So I got them for slightly below 150, which is pretty good. I also want to get a really, really heavy pair for me. What's really heavy or light, always scales to the individual. But for me, a really heavy pair would be like 90s. Unfortunately, that would be like over $300. These damn things are just really expensive. Ideally, I'd like to have like, these and 90s and something in between, like maybe 70s or 75s, so I can pyramid up and down, but that's, one, they take up a lot of space, and two, they're expensive. So, yeah. But I was able to do some, finally able to do heavy curls and shoulder presses and actual decent chest flies and rows. Hell, yeah, absolutely. Finally able to actually, do some decent back rows with this damn thing. Oh, that's so nice. I don't have my pull-up bar anymore. It was actually starting to destroy my the door jamb and the wall, so I had to get rid of my pull-up bar. So I've been not able to work my back as well as I'd like, but you know, now I've got some decent weights, so I'm pretty happy with that. Felt sorry for the delivery person who had to dolly that damn thing to my place, but also I was kind of surprised to find out that this pair of dumbbells came in one box. I actually kind of expected them to be packaged separately, you know, but no, they came in one box. So, you don't you have a gym I could go to? I do, but not. I don't go to gyms anymore. So, make a monthly payment to gym. It's cheaper. Well, I mean, in the long run, it's cheaper. I mean, because a gym is you know, depends. Last time I looked at like LA Fitness, it was like they kept raising their prices, particularly throughout the. Actually, I used to go to two gyms, a place called The Gym, which was the super professional, lots of professional, real serious bodybuilder type of place. They had all the really good equipment. They had posing classes and all that junk, right? But I also had a membership to nearby LA Fitness, and that was at the time I think like $25 a month. So, yeah, I mean, you're with them for a couple of years, and you could have bought your own weights by then, right? But of course, it's a nice thing about gyms is they have lots of different equipment that you can't fit in wherever you live, right? But since I'm not gonna go to gyms anymore, I don't think I need stuff I can use at home. So that's why I bought the weight set behind me, and am working on getting some decent actual free weights. So that's fun. Let's see. What are we talking about in the chat here? Chaos says, I bought a Les Paul guitar. Ooh, fancy. Alright. So, I should probably give me just a sec to put this back, because I don't want to accidentally kick it, forget that it's sitting down here, and kick it when I get up after the podcast, so. Alright. Now we talk about the important things, and that would be Nintendo's Nintendo Direct. So, okay, my props are within reach. Okay, so, not going to go over every game, just the games that stood out to me for one reason or another. I always forget to dust the top of my web camera, and I always notice it when I'm recording because the light is shining right off the top of it, so I can see the little thin layer of dust. I dust. Yeah, look at that. Look, I'm sorry, that was kind of reverse middle finger, but I dust the top of my monitors. For some reason, I always forget my webcam, and I don't know why. Oh, I know why, because my webcam doesn't actually sit here when I'm not using it. I take it off and I put it down to the side, so it's something I dust under and then I forget to actually dust. That's why. I figured it out! Local man goes to ER after kicking 50-pound weight. Now, it's probably going to be local man found dead because he dropped 50 pounds on his face. Also, that certainly is one consideration, right? You do have, because I live alone, so I have to be very careful, particularly with free weights. The bar behind me, there are safety catches on the rack, So if I gas out before I can rack it, I can set it on the safety catches and then just slide out from under it. No big deal. As long as I'm smart about it, I'm in very little danger. Free weights, you just have to be very conscious of and careful, which is why I don't think I would ever go above a pair of 90s. Heavy, but something I can handle without risking, without needing a spotter, right? So, yeah, that's something else to keep in mind if you're in the market for weights. They're expensive. They take up a lot of space, and you can hurt yourself pretty easily if you're not being careful. But speaking of safety, you might say, well, why don't you get one of those adjustable weight thingies? It's the handle that you stick it in the thing and you turn the little dial on the side and it grabs the different levels of weights, right? It's like a mechanical weight thing. The reason I don't is because I don't trust the locking mechanisms to work properly, especially if I'm holding the weights above my face. I don't need parts of the weights sliding out and killing me. Also, they don't feel right because they've got moving part, because it's built of that. Those weights are one solid piece. Those mechanical ones are built of different bespoke components that are held in place, so it feels like this weird it doesn't feel safe. It kind of rattles. It doesn't. Yeah, I don't like the feeling of them, and I'm scared to hold them above my head. Now, back flies or rows or something like that, or even curls, sure, but I wouldn't do like overhead presses or chest flies or anything that's like holding them above you, because that seems like an accident waiting to happen. Does it not hurt your neck doing the neck crack? Oh, this? No, it does not. I'd stop doing it if it did. But yeah, it makes so much. I've actually, when I was younger, I was taken into some medical facility to look at some of my joints, and because my scapulas, I don't think you can hear it, but they make really nasty grindy sounds too. So I had that stuff looked at, and they're like, your body just makes noise. And I'm like, well, I mean, it's better than chronic flatulence, I suppose. If my body has to make weird noises, I guess I'd rather the creaks, cracks, and pops than toots. So, yeah, apparently it's fine. My knees make some pretty awful noise, too, but I've had those looked at, pretty recently, too, like 3 or 4 years ago. I had my knees examined just to make sure that there was no damage there. I have full mobility, full flexibility. I'm not in any pain, but they just make my joints make a lot of noise. And more than they used to. It's like I do push-ups, this elbow cracks. It just pop, pop, pop. It's really annoying. I guess it treat it like a metronome. You're slowing down. Cafe Fox says, yeah, those locking mechanisms break pretty easily. We had one at my gym that I went to, and it was all busted. Lee says, that's what happens when you get old. Yeah, your body just farts. Yes, it farts, and it starts deteriorating and falling apart. So my body now, my neck and my shoulders and back, they've always made cracky, grindy sounds, but the amount of noise that like my knees and elbows make now is relatively new. It didn't do that when I was a kid. I don't heal anywhere near. Like if I fell down and cut my elbow open or something like that when I was 12, that healed inside of a week. Yeah, now a paper cut is like, that's going to be there for 3 weeks. So yeah, getting old. That's what happens. Also, I am honestly getting a little bit concerned because my recall for vocabulary is slower than it used to be. At points, I find myself like, there's a word or a phrase, and what is it? That's happening more and more often. Something I'm cognizant of, and will be, keeping an eye on. And if I think it's something, I'll probably bring up at some point if I feel it's getting extreme. And if you watch my podcast and my Sunday streams, and you're like, wow, Andrew's really reaching with his word recall, feel free to point it out. Let's see. Trilink says, I love a good free weight session. Yes. Chaos says, yeah, I now have arthritis in my right knee. Ooh, that sucks. Alright, so Nintendo Power, or rather Direct, Nintendo Direct. Alright, so, they opened the show with Mario. So, that's a fine foot to put forward. Mario and Luigi Brothership. And I thought, well, that sounds awkward. Is this just like the Japanese title and they just kept it for, like Shine Get? Mario and Luigi Brothership. And I was like, ooh, or is it like Brothership, like Mothership? Is there going to be like a big space alien craft kind of a thing? No, it seems to be like a boat-shaped island. So at least there does appear to be a literal brother ship, an actual ship. So that's neat. Looks neat so far. I really like the animation. It's got a lot of really attractive squash and stretch fun going on there. It's going a little too far, methinks, with the cel-shaded black outlines of the character. There's a game that we'll get to here in a bit that goes too far. I think Mario and Luigi is like towing the line. There's another game that we'll talk about here in a moment that goes over the line. It's kind of like what they did when they did the it was Smash Brothers for the 3DS, right? They had really harsh black outlines on the characters just so they'd stand out on the screen. It's probably why they might be overdoing it in the Switch a little bit, because they're like, the player may be playing this on the Switch, so we want the heavy, dark outlines to contrast with the background, so if you're playing it handheld, you can more easily see the characters. Fair enough. There seems to be a plug theme, like one of the bad, like your little companion character is a pig whose name is like it's like a portmanteau of like a outlet and a pig or a swine, or I forget what the name is, but the pig has a wall outlet nose. Some of the bad guys look like various different cable connections and stuff. It's kind of weird. So we'll see what's going on in that game. But the Mario and Luigi franchise, I think, honestly, has had a better track record than the Paper Mario franchise. I would say Thousand Year Door was the high watermark, but although I didn't play Paper Jam or, let's see, it was there was the Mario and Luigi game, Super Star Saga, or whatever the first one was. I think Partners in Time, Bowser's Inside Story. Then I think there were two others. It was Paper Jam and something else, and now we've got Brothership. I didn't play those two. Come to think of it, I don't think I played Superstar Saga or Partners in Time. I did play Bowser's Inside Story, though, and that one's really good. Fawful is probably one of the funniest damn villains I've ever seen. Love that character. Let's see, Trilink says, Brothership was an incredible surprise and a great way to open the Direct. Yeah, so we move on from there to World Championships NES Edition. which we was announced earlier, but this one was showing off a little bit more about the contents and the packaging. They showed off that you can erase ghost data from other players, which is neat. Also, there's a tips section in the game, and it's called Classified Information, just like the old Nintendo Power column. And it's formatted in the same way. It looks kind of like the old column from Classified Information. Now, my memory was like, wait a minute, wasn't it called Classified Corner? So I pulled out some of my old Nintendo Powers. You don't get older than this one. And I looked, and I was actually confusing it. Let's see. I was actually confusing it with Counselor's Corner. They actually had both columns. I think eventually they dropped Counselor's Corner, but they had classified information for like the entire run. So here's classified information, and they're essentially the same. They're essentially the same column. Counselor's Corner, classified information is tips and tricks from the devs and the people we employ to play the games and find out neat stuff. Here's how to pull a goalie thingy in ice hockey. Here's how to get on the fast track in Rad Racer. Build up. Oh, here's the Konami code in Contra, right? Something about Punch Out. But in classified information, I'm sorry, in a Counselor's Corner, it was essentially letters to the editor. These were, kids would write in, "I'm having problem in Legend of Zelda, help me." And, for example, let's see. In Ghosts and Goblins, is there a stage select? Also, how do I beat the Red Devil? And then it goes on to answer it. So, two different sections. But I think that's pretty fun that they're doing the World Championships NES Edition, and they have a little tip section that's modeled after some of the columns in the old magazine. That's pretty neat. I like that. They also showed off the packaging, and it comes with a the physical edition comes with a gold NES cart. With the sleeve. Now, my NES stuff is not here, it's at my mom's, but the sleeves were, this is an SNES cart, but they were little plastic sleeves that were, the NES carts were a lot taller, they actually looked more like this, and the plastic sleeves went up all the way on one side, and then cut down on one side so that you could see the logo of the game. But it actually comes with the little plastic sleeve as a gold game cart, and that's cute. I like that. If you're gonna make a special physical edition, that's the kind of crap I want to see. Don't do this. Ooh, special edition. We've taken stuff out of the game itself and sold it back to you. Don't do that. That's garbage. Lee says Nintendo Power is no longer. Yeah, they stopped printing Nintendo Power some time ago. It's been a while. Let's see. What do we got next? We got Fairy Tail 2. I don't know anything about Fairy Tail. I think it's an anime. This is based on the anime. I guess it's the second game based on the anime. The only reason I'm noting it is because I don't know if I misheard it. I only listened to it once, but they're like, "You're Team Grey, and you're fighting the evil of Team Nazi." And then I'm sorry, is it Team Nazi? Is there a Team Nazi in Fairy Tail? Hope they're the bad guys. Maybe I misheard that. I don't know, but it totally sounded like, and it was said in such a cheerful voice for a game that seems to be targeting, like, a younger skewing player base. Team Nazi. It's like, wait, what? Next we had Fantasian Neo Dimension. And I looked at that, again cocking my head like a particularly confused dog. Or Tucker Carlson. And I was like, I've seen this before. Is this a new entry or is this this? And I had to look it up, and because because I recognize the aesthetic and the mechanics. Because the aesthetic is like they built dioramas and filmed them, and all your characters are running on it like actual little diorama sets that they built. I don't know if they're like actual pictures or scans, and then they built them out from there, what they did, but or if they built all of them or just some. But it's got a really cool look, and it also has a few interesting mechanics. It's an RPG where you have a group of baddies, and you can throw a boomerang, but you can adjust the curve of the throw to hit as many baddies as you can, right? And it also has another thing where if you don't feel like fighting a random encounter, you can just shuffle them all off to a pocket dimension to fight them all in bulk later, which is kind of an interesting idea. And so I had to look this one up, and I did remember it correctly. This is the original game, but it was released for Apple Arcade like 4 years ago, so no one's played it. So now it's getting new life on the Switch, and might be something to keep our eyes on, because it's definitely got a cool look and an interesting mechanic. Don't know if the game's any good, but it looks cool, and hey, that's certainly part of the appeal of video games. Looking cool. Oh, it's Team Natsu, not Nazi, Natsu. Okay. I'm glad I heard it slightly wrong. Thank you, Cafe Fox. Alright, next we have Mio, Memories in Orbit. So it looks kind of like an Ori or a Hollow Knight, Metroidvania kind of a game. So it looks nice. What particularly caught my eye about this one is it has a really, to my aesthetic sense anyway, really pleasing watercolor aesthetic in its visual presentation. Also, it has really impressively busy backgrounds without the foreground elements getting lost in the clutter and movement, which is genuinely impressive. A lot of multi-plane parallax stuff going on in the background, but it somehow does, at least in the clips we saw, doesn't seem to be detracting from the foreground action where, the character and the platforms and the enemies are. So that looks pretty neat. Next is Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports. This is the one that is like Mario and Luigi Brothership, is also doing the cel-shaded dark black outline around the characters. I said Brothership, I think, kind of goes right up to the line. This one stumbles over it. I think this one just looks garish with its black outlines. I think they're way too stark. I don't care about sports Looney. I like the Looney Tunes just fine, but it's sports game. That's not for me anyway. But I bring it up because of the line work. Chaos says the art style in Mio looks great. I agree. It's very attractive, a very visually striking game. I like it. Here's one that I have no interest in playing myself, but I did think it was kind of funny. It's called Farmagia. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but it's kind of like a cross between Pikmin and Pokemon, right? So you have all your Pikmin soldiers and you chuck them at monsters so you have an army of soldiers and you chuck them at monsters in the field. But what if instead of red Pikmin, blue Pikmin, yellow Pikmin, ice and rock Pikmin, it was, Pikachu and Charizard and Bulbasaur and all of the old Pokemon that I know because I'm old. Can I think of a modern Pokemon? Incineroar. There you go. There's a more modern one. I remember that one because that was one of the more modern Pokemon that were introduced in the latest Smash Brothers game. and I recognized it as a Pokemon simply by its design aesthetic. I'm like, that's a Pokemon. I have never seen it before, though. Now, the more I thought about it, I was like, I had actually seen its what it evolves from, because Incineroar is the evolution of Firecat, or whatever the name of because that's one of the starter Pokemon for uh, whichever entry that is. That is not. It is not the most recent Pokemon. No, it's the most recent one I can actually name. Like like Greninja and stuff are like newer Pokemon to me. I have no idea who's in like. Oh well, I guess like Arceus would be one of the newer ones. Pokemon Arceus. Although I don't know if that's new for that game or if that was an established one. Litten. That's what it. That's the starter form of Incineroar. There you go. But anyway, so Farmagia or Farmagia, however it's pronounced, is kind of like Pikmin except Pokemon crossed with a farming sim, because you grow all your little pocket monsters on a farm. So there's like a fox monster that grows out of like a corn stalk. It's really funny. No idea if it would be a good game, but I do kind of like the idea that you're literally growing your army. That's kind of funny. I like that. So hopefully that'll be a fun little game. Probably not for me, but interesting. All right, next we have Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, which I don't know. The editor in me might have wanted to call it Donkey Kong Country Returns in HD, but whatever. It's definitely higher resolution than the Wii game, obviously, but something about it looked off. I mean, it's like, I think this is an end of the year game or something like that, so they've got like half a year left of development time. But I don't know. Something looked. I only watched the trailer once, but something was like ringing a something isn't working bell for me. Like maybe the lighting wasn't implemented properly yet, or there were some missing effects or something like that. But something. It did look high resolution, and they've the characters are fuzzy now, but something looked off about it, irrespective of the higher resolution. But at least you don't have to, at least I don't have a Wii remote near me, but at least you don't have to play the game like this. So that's an improvement right there. It was already, that's true. The Returns was ported to the 3DS. I would assume that this is not a port of the 3DS version, but who the hell knows? Color's too dark compared to the Wii version. Maybe that's what it was. Again, I only watched it once, but I remember thinking something looks not quite right here. But I don't think it comes out until like December or something like that. So they've got time to fix the lighting or re-implement the effects or whatever the hell the problem was. Whatever was annoying me. Next we have Dragon Quest III. HD 2D remake. HD 2D? That's... It's both kind of dumb and not entirely accurate as a description of the technical presentation. But whatever. I wouldn't have as much of a problem with that... label, if it were at least more fun to say, or I don't have it, like I don't know, call it H2D or something. I don't know. I think they need to workshop that HD 2D thing. That's just not working for me. That said, the game looks nice. I already played it back in 1989. whenever 3 came out. That, man, the first like 4 Dragon Quests came out like year after. I think Dragon Quest was like 85 or 86, and then the sequels just came out like a year. You know, the next year Dragon Quest 2, the next year 3 and 4 was like 1990 or something like that. Then they started spreading them out a little bit, but yeah. Comes out November 14th, and then they're like, and 1 and 2 are coming out, and the HD 2D remakes of 1 and 2 are coming out in 2025. I'm like, wait, you're releasing part 3 in November, and following that with parts 1 and 2. Why? And then I remembered that 3 is technically a prequel to 1 and 2, so I'm like, okay, you're releasing them like chronologically story-wise, but... And these are remakes, so who knows how they'll play, but Dragon Quest, or if it's as I played it, Dragon Warrior, really difficult game to go back to after playing something like Dragon Quest 3. Or, again, as I played it, Dragon Warrior 3. But I don't know how faithful... I don't know if this is just a cosmetic update, or if... I hear there's some nominal quality of life improvements, but I don't know if it's a remake like in the vein of Capcom remaking the Resident Evil games. We'll have to see. I did really like the reveal of, oh, we're also doing 1 and 2, because they had just some really nice classic art for part 3, and then they slowly zoomed out, and there's like this panorama of the art that just expanded into the key art for 1 and 2. I'm like, that's just a really solid reveal. It looked really nice. I like that. They also, I was, what's it, something Hori, I forget his name, but they had like a little minute of him going, hey, Dragon Quest, cool, thanks, I'm glad you're fans, getting you some more Dragon Quest. I'm kind of surprised there was no acknowledgement of Toriyama's passing, considering how instrumental his input was to the look of the series, but maybe that's just too much time has passed, or it's just kind of a downer. I don't know. Oh well. Let's see. Really don't know why they didn't combine the name and call it 2HD. Dragon Quest 3 2HD. Yeah, I had H2D as a yeah, HD hyphen 2D. Just, I think it's actually called Dragon Quest 3 HD hyphen 2D remake, which is kind of clunky. I think they can do better than that, but whatever. HD 2D remakes as chaos really just rolls off the tongue. Yeah. How many times are they going to remake the main 3 games? Yeah, they already have at least once. I mean, I'd say the ones I'm thinking of are enough of a rework that, I mean, at least presentation-wise, that's enough of a remake to call it a remake in my... Because I kind of look at, is it a remake, or what what Capcom's doing with their Resident Evil games? I refer to those as, internally, as reimaginings. You know, if it's the exact same game, it's just, you know, reprogrammed and new art and stuff and looks better, that's a remake. We just remade the exact same game. If it's genuinely a different game, and Resident Evil 4 that came out in like 2004 or something like that, and the one that came out last year or the year before, 2 different games. You know, so I always call the newer Resident Evil games reimaginings. Rather, you know, that's just kind of how I distinguish them in my mind, anyway. Let's see. Trilink says YouTube compressed the direct, so that might be a reason. Very possible. Example: Nintendo released an uncompressed trailer of Prime 4 on their website, which looks significantly better. Oh, sweet! I should check that out. Doobie doobie doo. Your first game was Dragon Warrior Monsters? Huh. How about that? Alright, Funko Fusion! Which is, to my mind, it's like a Lego game, but without a cohesive theme. Like, normally most of the Lego game, like, there's the Lego Horizons game, which is based on the Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West, whatever the next one was called, right? Lego Harry Potter, Lego the Indiana Jones, Lego Pirates of the Caribbean. There's usually just one IP tied to it. Funko Pop is just, here's all the stuff we own or could license. Watching the trailer once, it seems to be mostly Universal properties, so Back to the Future, the Jurassic stuff, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, Jaws, The Mummy, Chucky. Those are all Universal properties, but I also noticed He-Man in there, and that's Mattel. So far as I know, Mattel is not like a subsidiary of Universal. There was also Invincible, the Robert Kirkman comic book, but seems to be based on the Amazon property, so they might have some licensing agreement with Amazon. And then there was Five Nights at Freddy's in there, and so far as I know, Scott Cawthon owns Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't think anyone else owns that. So it looks like it's mostly Universal stuff and some other licensed properties, but the point I'm trying to make is the reason I think for me that a game like Smash Brothers works, which is hey, here's all the stuff, here's a bunch of different cool IP that we own, that works for me. And yet Funko Pops comes off as gauche. I'm sorry, Funko Pops. Funko Fusion, the video game. And also, what's the Sony... I'm sorry, not Sony. Multiverses. Warner Brothers, that's who it is. The Smash Brothers ripoff from... or Smash Brothers-like party fighter from Warner Brothers. Multiverses. It's like, well, you like you don't have a problem with Smash Brothers. Why do you have a problem with Multiverses and Funko Fusion? They're the same thing, right? Here's just a bunch, a mismatch of IP that we own, right? Same thing. And I had to think about that, and methinks the reason Smash Brothers isn't off-putting to me is because when Nintendo presents Smash Brothers, they're not just saying, here's a mismatch of IP that we own. They're saying, here's a mismatch of IP that we own because we created it. I think that's the difference, right? Funko Fusion and Multiverses is, here's a mismatch of IP that we own because we bought it. Right? And that's maybe a silly distinction and may mean maybe just kind of silly, so silly to everyone else. But I think that's why because I was like, this is weird. I find both of those things, Funko Fusion and Multiverse, is just kind of off-putting in some way. But I don't find Smash Bros. I think that might be the key, is the majority of the IP that shows up in Smash Brothers is not just the stuff that Nintendo happens to own. They own it because they made that stuff. Now, to be clear, some of the stuff that shows up in Smash Brothers, particularly the more modern stuff, is licensed. I just spit all over my desk. I should probably take a swig here. There we go. But they're treated like guests. You know, when Mega Man or Pac-Man or Sephiroth and Cloud show up in the games, and first of all, you know, not only have these franchises like appeared on Nintendo platforms usually, at least in some form or another, they're treated like special guests. There's a tacit acknowledgement, or at least maybe one I'm inserting myself, that we don't own this, we didn't buy this, we invited a friend over to play. That's the feeling that it gives off, whether that's accurate or not. At least to me. Let's see. Lego usually don't disappoint, says Lee. I actually have a comment about Lego Horizon Adventures here, so we'll get to that in a bit. So, Funko Fusion. Oh, hopefully it's a fun game. Even if I do find it slightly off-putting for aforementioned reasons. Next, they showed Metal Slug Attack Reloaded, which is I think is not a very good title because it doesn't inform you that this is a genre change. You hear Metal Slug Attack Reloaded, and you're like, oh, okay, it's another run and gun side-scrolly Metal Slug game. No, not this one. No, this one seems to be more of a kind of a deck builder kind of a thing, which is an interesting idea for the Metal Slug franchise, and no problem at all. I think that could be very cool. I just wish the title of the game actually reflected the genre change, because I can imagine that, you know, some parent somewhere is like, oh, little Susan loves her some Metal Slug. I'll buy her the new Metal Slug game. She's like, what the hell is this? Cards? I want to shoot things. You know. Next is Phantom Brave, The Lost Hero. You know what? The reason I'm mentioning this is I have a Phantom Brave game. It's Phantom Brave. We Meet Again? Is that what it's called? Yeah, Phantom Brave, We Meet Again. Again, it's a Wii game. I bought it because it looked cute. I saw some footage. It looked cute. I bought it. I played it for like 2 hours, and I genuinely cannot figure out how the hell to play this game. And oh, it comes on 2 discs. It has an instruction manual with pages and pages of stuff. Well, I mean, it's like, you know, this is, the last half is in French, but, you know, it's got an instruction manual, but the problem I had with this game is it's like, you know, press the C button to do the Garfarber schnitz. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, now I know how to do the Garfarber schnitz. What is that, and why would I want to do that? What does it actually do? It's an adorable looking game, but I honestly cannot figure out how to play it. So, hopefully Lost Hero is not as opaque, or maybe I'm just a dummy. Next we've got Super Mario Party Jamboree, because Nintendo has long since dropped the number from the title because they're embarrassed with how many there are. Like, I think this is the third one on the Switch, and none of them have been numbered. I think they stopped numbering them at 10. So, Super Mario Party Jamboree, it's probably like the 13th title or 14th or somewhere around there. Now we're halfway through the show, and they show The Legend of Zelda, the new Zelda game. And at this point I'm like, oh, well, they're definitely closing with Metroid now. Because we know they're not going to talk about, you know, Switch 2 or anything. So if you're starting with Mario, and you're bridging with Zelda, we're definitely going to see a Metroid Prime 4 at the end, so. Phantom Brave isn't too dissimilar to Diskia, which, another game that's, I tried, and I just, like, I don't get it. Like, I just genuinely, something about those games is just inscrutable to me, and I don't know if it's the ones I played are just not explained very well. And I know a friend of mine who I used to work with, big fan of the Disgaea games. I know they're very deep strategy games with a lot of moving parts and stuff. But yeah, they were just impenetrable to me. I'm just like, okay, you can pick stuff up and stack it on top of your head, but why? And I can throw it, but it doesn't do anything. And hitting the C button does, you know, Garfarble schnapps, but I don't know what that means or why I want to do it. I mean, it seems like there's something like if I hold a cactus above my head, I get like a defense buff or attack buff or something. And there's like kind of a you can fuse characters. It's just really unclear, and the game just throws you into the deep end. I'm like, I don't understand what I'm doing. Like, it's not just I can't figure out how to do the thing. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do, let alone how to do it. Actually, I know how to do it. Hit the C button. But I just don't know why I would want to or what it does. Anyway, so Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. It's in the style of Link's Awakening for Switch, so that very glossy, plasticky diorama looking thing, which is a bold aesthetic choice, but one I don't really care for, at least from the little snippets of marketing I've seen. Maybe it would grow on me if I played the games. It's not a bad aesthetic, I just find it too plasticky. Like, if I'm gonna do it, like, I like the more material-based ones, you know, the diorama-looking ones, if they look like they're actually made of material, like a lot of the Paper Mario styles, like it looks like it's actually made of cardboard and craft materials. This one looks like it's made of plastic on purpose. It's what it's supposed. It looks like, you know, Playmobil sets and stuff. It's just not gelling with me, at least just from the trailers. Maybe I'd like it better if I played the game. And I actually have the link to Link's Awakening for Switch, so I'll try and play that at some point. It actually should be sitting over here. Yeah, here it is. Let's try not to... There we go. Yeah, see, I have it. And the reason it's sitting over here is because I'm working on doing a new entry in my Games I Own But Haven't Played video series. Because I seem to do those every 5 years, and it's been 5 years since the last one, so, of course, I'm probably not going to do it today, because I want to wait till I get the new cable I ordered, which probably won't be here till Friday, so I'll probably record that next weekend. Let's see. Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom, rather. So this one, it stars Zelda herself. So I, of course, went on Twitter, and I made a very, very funny joke where I said, well, since this one stars Zelda, shouldn't it be called The Legend of Link? Oh, goddamn, I'm funny. And then I followed it up with, or even better, if you don't want to do that, how about The Legend of Zelda Missing Link? I'm so funny. And then later that day I saw an article on Kotaku that was talking about how everyone made that exact joke. And that article was published literally 10 minutes before I made my own tweet, so... Great minds, I guess. I guess it is an obvious joke. Let's see, Trailing says, I'm not a big fan of the diorama Zelda-looking games. I would have much preferred a cel-shaded game. But Trailing's going to leave us in suspense. Yeah, I don't mind the diorama. I just don't like the very shiny plastic look. Again, maybe it would grow on me if I actually played the game, which I should at some point, because I bought it. Actually, I'm pretty sure I didn't buy it. I think my sister bought it for me for, like, birthday or something. So anyway, Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. She has a rod that kind of feels like an extension of the Ultra Hand from Tears of the Kingdom, where you could just copy objects, game objects, pots, boxes, beds, even other enemies, and throw them at things. So, like, you can copy the bed, and, you know, Bokoblin comes, you know, rides up on you with a pitchfork or something, and you put a bed in front of it, and it decides to take a nap instead of harassing you. I don't know if it does that, but that would be pretty funny. Like, if you copy a particularly comfy chair, you know, like Bokoblin comes running up on you and you put a chair, and it's like, ooh, Ooh, that's nice. I'm gonna settle my bokoblin butt into that. Or you could copy a rock and throw a rock at its head, which is pretty hilarious. But the idea of the game is like, okay, I can copy a box and then I can summon the box and use it as a stepping stone to get somewhere. I can make a bunch of copies of a bed to build a bridge to cross a chasm, that kind of a thing. Could be fun. We'll see. Let's see. Where am I in my list here? Okay, Lego Horizon Adventures, which is a Lego game using one IP instead of just everything that they own. On the other hand, they did do Lego Dimensions, which was, I think, just a bunch of IP that Warner owned. Anyway, my question is the break and build mechanic of past Lego games in there or not? Because it just kind of looks, at least from the marketing, it just looks like a side-scrolling adventure with a Lego coat of paint. There's none of that punch the crap out of objects in the environment, make it explode into bits of Lego, and rebuild it into some useful contraption. So far as I've seen in the marketing, there's none of that. Doesn't mean it's not in the game, they're just not showing it off, which is kind of weird to me. Trilink continues, the game does look fun, and we'll finally get to play as Zelda. Yep. Yeah, so we get to play as Princess Peach in Showtime and Princess Zelda in Echoes of something. Echoes of Wisdom, and all in the same year. Super cool. Stray. So, Switch is getting a port of Stray, and wow, does it look bad visually. Like, it looks bad enough that they probably shouldn't have bothered porting it, because, oh my, that's unfortunate. Moving on, we have Tales of the Shire, The Lord of the Rings game. Kind of an awkward title. I understand that the actual trademark is The Lord of the Rings, but The Lord of the Rings game just reads weird, you know? Anyway, Tales of the Shire, A Lord of the Rings game. I'm sorry, The Lord of the Rings game. Seems to be just Animal Crossing, but the Shire. Which, you know what, might work pretty damn well. So yeah, Animal Crossing, but the Shire. I think that's a solid hook. I think that could work. Echoes of Wisdom says Trilink in the Mio art style would have been perfect. Well, you know, one's kind of a three-quarter top-down view, one's a side-scroller, but if you mean a more watercolored, sure. Yeah, really could do anything, really, but I guess they just really liked the Link's Awakening Switch style. Or they had that engine, it was really easy, or, you know, they had the engine, they're like, hey, let's use this for another game. Lee says, I don't see the difference, but okay. You mean in Stray? You know, maybe my stream dropped to 480 while that trailer played, but to my eyes, I was like, oh, that looks really rough. Next, Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. Finally, because we got the first Ace Attorney some years back, and we never got the second one, so I ended up importing it to justify playing in emulation and fan translation. And this one, it comes with the new art style, which doesn't usually work for me. Something's just kind of off about it, but it allows you to swap between that and at least an approximation of the old pixel style, so that's cool. I like the Ace Attorney Investigations games. I thought they were quite fun, so I'm I'm quite happy to see them finally officially released here. Tales of the Shire is a misleading name. I thought it was a new Tales of... Ooh. New Tales of game from Namco. Yeah. That would be an interesting crossover. Tales of the Shire. Ah, well, you know, Namco's like, damn, we can't just trademark the word Tales. Shoot. Where are we? Okay, we're at... Oh, geez, we're past 8. I am verbose. The 100-line colon Last Defense Academy. The 100-line Last Defense Academy. Again, awkward-ass title. So this is from the creators of Danganronpa, which I'm a big fan of, even though Raincode, I think it was called. Yeah, Raincode didn't really do it for me. So this, I guess it's a strategy battler of some sort. It wasn't. Could have used a little bit more info from the trailer, but you know, it's got that Danganronpa art style that at least I like. I'm sure people bleed pink, which is always fun. So yeah, I'll definitely keep my eye out for that because I'm a fan of those games, even though this is not technically a Danganronpa game. And finally, we have Metroid Prime 4 Beyond! And Retro Studios is alive. Maybe. I'm honestly not sure. I checked Retro Studios. The trailer does not say Retro Studios anywhere. Neither does the website. Retro's website has not been updated. Their Twitter has not been updated. They're not mentioned on Nintendo's website. They're not mentioned on Nintendo's Twitter. I still would really feel better if someone would go to Austin and do a wellness check on Retro Studios, because I'm not convinced they didn't all die in a tragic gas leak like 3 years ago. But Metroid Prime 4, we saw, 70, 80 seconds of footage, and it definitely looks like Metroid Prime, so sweet. And there's a bad guy who's flanked by single ball Metroids. So maybe not Metroids? I don't know. I guess I'm not up on my Metroid lore. Is there a single ball Metroid? Is that actually a thing? Are these new? Or I don't know. What I mean is Metroids typically have 3 balls or 3 nuclei within them. That these just had 1. But I mean, it's kind of interesting to see a hunter or something. Maybe from Metroid Prime Hunters, which I didn't play, so I don't know. Seemingly maybe working with space pirates and badassing their way onto the scene, flanked by not Metroids. Intriguing. Also not coming out until 2025, so it's going to be a while yet. Will we get a Switch 2 next year, and will they do the Metroid Prime 4 launching on both the Switch and the Switch 2, like not Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild did? Who can say? Let's see. Lee says Kingdom Hearts 4 is still not accounted for yet, but not sure if it'll be on a Nintendo system anyway. Have any of the Kingdom... Well, I mean, there's been a couple DS titles. The ones with, like, decimal points in their numbering system. Kingdom Hearts 2.5.8. It's like, what? I don't like Kingdom Hearts. I've never played it, and I don't like it. And I feel weird about that, but something about Kingdom Hearts just and I like Disney, but Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and all that kind of stuff. So I'm a Disney dork, but for some Kingdom Hearts has literally never appealed to me somehow. I find it kind of off-putting and annoying, and I don't know why. I've never watched a Let's Play. I've never actually tried playing it. My only experience with any of the Kingdom Hearts games is its marketing and their very silly titles. Dream Drop Distance and Death by Sleep or something. at least the more recent one was just Kingdom Hearts 3. It's just Kingdom Hearts 3. So, all right, that's Nintendo coming in at the end of not E3 and showing everyone how it's done. Uh, the whole show, they showed off about 30 games. They did it in 40 minutes. They had Mario, Zelda, and Metroid. And even if you didn't care about any of the games shown off, rarely would you come off of a trailer thinking, okay, what's the game though? That said, there were, 2 or 3 trailers. I'm like, I could have used a little bit more information, a bit more clarity on what the game actually is, but I've at least got an idea. They didn't overload with talking heads. There were a few talking heads, but it was just like, hey, wasn't that neat? Sure was. Hey, here's something else neat. Watch this. And that was it. Done. So, Nintendo is best dough. I don't know. Nintendo's good at this. Retro Studios have tweeted about Prime 4. Oh, have they? Dup 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 up 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 scubbly wop. Oh, yep, and they did 2 days ago. Okay. Good to see. Okay, cool. First tweet in almost a year and a half. So, and let's see. Is there a timestamp on this? There isn't, but okay. So that came late. That must have come much later in the day, because yeah, the Nintendo Direct I think was on the 20th. So at least the social media manager's alive. Don't know about anyone else, but I mean they are saying we, which implies other people are alive, unless they're zombies. Unless Retro Studios, like the entire team, did die, but they came back from the dead. Yeah. We're thrilled to share what we've been developing for our fans around the world. Or wait, no. No, it was Tuesday, right? No, the Nintendo Direct was on Tuesday, I think. Right? Da, 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 da. I can't spell Nintendo. Let me the hair-ify here. Yeah, the Nintendo Direct was on the 18th. It was on Tuesday. Retro Studios' tweet was not until Thursday the 20th. So I checked after the Direct, and there was it took them 2 days. Well, maybe the necromancy magic took a little while to go into effect. Nintendo's like, hey, Retro Studios, hi, this is Retro Studios. Please leave a message after the beep. And they're like, hi, this is Nintendo. Could you guys update your social media? You haven't done anything in a year and a half, and people think you're dead. Okay, bye. Send someone to Austin. And someone goes to Austin, like, oh shit, they're all dead. Ade dui dembella. Give me the power, I beg of you! And now they're all in dolls. But they're still working. With their short little doll fingers. Really unsettling. We'll probably never see pictures of it because of how off-putting it is, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. So, alright, that's it for tonight. Join me tomorrow for more Trails to what are we doing? Yeah, Trails to Azure. And we might actually beat the game tomorrow, because we gotta go into the Kia tree and probably kick the snot out of Wald and Shirley and Uncle Sigmund and who else is there? And Maria Bell, and maybe we have to go punch a lawyer in the face. Yeah, got lots of fun stuff. And it might take 5 hours to get through the tree, and I'll beat the game, and then there will be like a 2-hour-long cutscene. And the stream will go until 8 o'clock at night. Who knows? I don't. We'll find out tomorrow. It's why they call it Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, as they are developing the game from beyond the grave. Yeah, I circled back to Child's Play. one of the universal properties that shows up in Funko fuckery? What the hell's it called? Funko Fusion. Funko fuckery is pretty good, though. You know, profane, but I kind of like the title. All right, that's it for tonight. Join me for Sunday stream tomorrow. Until then, eat all of your dinner, including the vegetables, so you can enjoy dessert. All right, brush your teeth, wash behind your ears, and all that good stuff, and hope to see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.